Our 2 cents.
With Oscar.
Welcome once again to our 2 cents. This is Oscar, your host, and I did it again. We did it great this time. A perfect transitions, no issues, and I just screwed it up. I did, didn't I? I was celebrating that I did it right, and I screwed it all up. It doesn't matter. Like I always say, the show must go on. So happy Wednesday the 18th. Happy National Day, Fajita Day. Is that interesting enough? I like fajitas, especially the I don't even know, the fried ones, whatever the hell. Jesus Christ. See, this is the type of reasons why I hate not remembering anything, because I can't share the information that I'm trying to think of. But anyways, so today it is also Happy Mail Order Catalog Day. What the hell is this? The 1990s? Are we ordering from a Sears catalog? And here we go. Ice cream pie. Oh my God. Depends what ice cream and depends what pie we're talking about. And Pinot Noir Day. I know noir is black, but I don't know what peanut is. So I don't know what it even means. And Congressional Startup Day. Whatever that means. Happy National Days to if you do that. But the ice cream pie, that's the one that I'm gonna go with, and the fajitas. I should have fajitas for lunch, and for dessert I should have some ice cream pie. What's your favorite pie? Ice cream pie. Anyways, so today I have a great, interesting conversation with Dr. Ryan. Now, Dr. Ryan not only shares on his TikTok nutritional facts, but he also shares scandals and in the entertainment industry, which I think it's interesting because I went through a lot of his TikToks, and yeah, it is exactly that. Every single subject that I have an opinion that I do not share, mainly I don't share it because I don't know how to share it accordingly. Can't even talk. But anyways, so let's see. We have let's do this and get ready to see if Dr. Ryan will join us. Let's send him the message. But anyways, back to the fajitas day. Fajitas. Are we having some sort of anyways? Ooh, that's not gonna look good. I hate doing that. Anyways, and I keep saying anyways, because I know I got anyways to say. Any other way that I gotta say it. But anyways, that's not what I'm saying. Fajitas. Do you know what a fajita is? Most people, if you ask them if they know what a fajita is, they'll just tell you it's a chicken breast. Essentially, they are right. But there is two parts for the chicken breast, right? Am I right or am I wrong? I could be wrong, definitely. We should ask Dr. Ryan that today when we talk to him. But Dr. Ryan, I'm going to do this. And we'll go from there. Now we'll just wait for Dr. Ryan to join us. But anyways, there is a small, long piece in the back of the chicken breast that's what they use as fajitas. And the only reason I know this is because I myself used to work at Fresh and Easy. Damn, what were those times like? And we used to prepare chicken fajitas with vegetables and all that. But that's neither here nor there. Dr. Ryan has been admitted to talk to us. There he is, and let's see if he can hear us. I can see you, but I cannot hear you. I thought I heard you right now.
Okay.
There you are.
Can you hear me now? Okay, cool.
Loud
Let
and
me
clear.
fix this. Hi.
All right. How you doing? Finally.
Good. How
Very
are
good
you?
to meet you.
Thanks for
Finally,
having me.
right?
Is my picture clear or is it okay?
No, you're clear. You're perfectly fine right there. You look
Okay,
good.
cool.
You look great.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
thanks.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll
Yeah.
take it from there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my name is Dr. Ryan, Ryan Luna. I am a new medical graduate. I just finished medical school in May, and I do TikTok. So I make basically educational storyline videos about pretty much anything trending in the news that's happened in the past, and I tie in medical knowledge. And so I'm about to hit 1 million followers. I've loved it. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been almost a year now. It'll be a year next month. So yeah. It's been a lot of
Awesome.
fun.
You've done a great job
Yeah.
if you've gotten that far in a year. I almost have 2 years doing this, but I haven't dedicated myself like fully like I should to it. That's why I haven't progressed. Well, and because
Yeah.
I got to get better
Well,
too.
yeah. I mean, the thing with it is like, your fourth year of medical school is really chill. You have a lot more downtime compared to before. And TikTok's just such a growing platform. And the biggest thing is to be persistent. I've
Yeah.
been on social media before, but it just kind of all fell into place. I think if you love something, it grows naturally.
Was
But
it?
yeah.
You said you've been on social media before. I mean, most of us have, right? Is it
Yeah.
something that you aspire to make into to make an income out of it? Is that what the goal is, or is it just to share information or create? What's your goal?
I think that will always be my goal, is to share information and create stuff that I love. But I think an income also is great. So I actually deferred a year of residency to do this because, I do love it and I've been able to see so much growth, and I do make a decent amount to where it would be nice to start paying off my loans for medical school
Of
faster.
course.
So yeah, I mean, you easily can make money, although I always say like put like what you enjoy and passion before it, and then kind of follow that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it would
Right.
be nice too. And I think I also want to go into like talk show world.
Right.
That's
Like
kind of my next
some sort
goal.
of a TED talk or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and YouTube and stuff like that.
Right. But
And how's your podcast doing?
it's not as great as I would like it for the time that I've been doing it. But here's my thing. I get down on myself a lot. I have what is known to be imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Anything I create, I always judge it, and sometimes I'm like, it's not good enough. Nobody's gonna like it. Nobody's gonna watch it, and I just don't upload it. But for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
everything I record, I try to upload it, and I go with no editing because I
Cool.
want to get good and I want to see my mistakes, even though
Okay.
I don't often go back to watch it, even though I should.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Cool.
I like to think that I've had a success that I would have not had if I wasn't doing this. And I've also had conversations with people that live outside of the country from what I know, and it's been great. It gives me more perspective on what is life outside of what I'm used to,
Mm-hmm.
and
Cool.
that's the main
Oh, you're in
reason.
Houston.
No. I said that I'm used to. I'm in California.
Oh, used to. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. Cool.
yeah. I mean, life is pretty good here for the most part. But I mean, it is what it is in other places, and I think most of us only judge other places by what we see because we don't know, we're not there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
as far as the podcast goes, I'm already in the 1,000 downloads. I mean,
Great.
it's I was thinking about it today, and I'm like, maybe I'm focusing on the wrong people to talk to, and if I want my downloads to grow, then I probably should start talking to other podcasters, because mainly whom I've been talking to, right, like from where I started doing them all by myself. It's been people like you, like content creators, and just bring them on and talk to them, and just get to know them. And
Yeah.
I feel like I should be focused on that, but I also should focus on other podcasters that they will help me grow as well. And I've had other conversations with other podcasters, and I like it. I just feel like they're gonna judge me more, and that's my problem. I don't want to get judged like
Hmm.
that yet, but it comes with what we're doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, a year ago, I was just on Instagram. I was still in my third year of medical school or finishing my third year. And like, I literally would have given the same response when you asked, how is your social media life going? I would have literally said the same thing. So just keep continuing to put yourself out there and changing what you do, learning what people like more. It can just explode at any moment. That's what I say. You literally never know, but you got to put your foot out there and just
Of
try.
course.
That's the biggest thing.
Of course, and that's
Yeah.
why I say that I have the success. I like to think that I am successful because
Mhm.
I've had all this conversation so far, and all of them are first like today. I would I was going through my whole list of excuses that I like to have like in hand just to use just to get out of this conversation because I have what I told you, imposter syndrome, and it
Mhm.
gets to me all the time, but I just push through it. Like this time I
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm not gonna cancel it because it's not fair for the person that I'm talking to, and it's not fair for the consistent listeners that keep coming back.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have consistent listeners because when I check the locations, the same locations keep coming back. So that's why I said I have a few listeners that I like to cater to, and that's why I try to do at least two a week. Now I know in the past I've said I was gonna try to do at least three, but I
It's pretty decent.
haven't I haven't been successful though because I send a lot of messages and there's weeks that I get nothing back from nobody, and then there's other ones that do want to come on, but at the same time they have what I have. They find an excuse not to do it, or something else comes up. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's part of the show, correct?
Yeah. It's show business. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as I was watching a couple of your videos, I think I went as far back as Michael Jackson ones. Um,
Hmm.
you said it was most likely that no, I don't think you said that, but you were asking the question that if it was the doctor that did it on purpose, and I didn't quite
Yeah.
get the answer. So what do you think happened in that situation?
Yeah. So I'll talk about, for people listening, what happened with Michael Jackson. It was mid 2009. He was going to sleep with a surgical anesthetic. So a propofol is what it's called. And you're not supposed to, there's a dog out there.
No
You might hear him,
worries.
but and you're not supposed to really only use this outside of the surgical world. So Michael Jackson was put to sleep for a dental procedure, and he really liked it. So there's one people out there. He really liked it, and essentially he paid a doctor like $1.8 million a year. His name was Dr. Carson. $1.8 million a year
Wow.
um, to really get this put under the table. So 20 nights a month, he was being put to sleep with this surgical anesthetic, and so honestly, do I think that Dr. Carson did it on purpose? I don't know. Like, there's not a way to tell. We will never know. But,
Right.
the fact that he doesn't seem very sorry about it and he seems defensive just shows his character, in my opinion. I don't want to trash talk him, but his license was taken away for a reason because it was, he didn't seem to show remorse. Now, he did go to jail and got his license taken away, and they ruled it as a homicide.
Mm.
Now, how do we know? But he didn't call the police right away. So that's
That's
another thing is like
suspicious.
he said that he didn't call the police because he didn't know the address and he didn't have they didn't have a house phone, which back in 2009 those were more common. Now it just depends. I don't want to say he did it or he didn't. We can only speculate. I don't think he personally did it. I just think the way he handled the situation seemed kind of irresponsible, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, no one's perfect, but you have time to reflect upon it years later. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
What do the evidence
yeah.
say though? The evidence says he did it, or I mean, obviously they took his license away, right?
Yeah, so it's like we'll never really know. It's just the evidence shows that he had really high levels of propofol in his system, and when you're given it that frequently, accidents are bound to happen.
Right.
Um, so he probably did try to save his life, but we weren't in the room, so there's
Right.
only so much that we can know. All we can tell from the autopsy is in his blood, in the bloodstream. They basically, an autopsy is when you pass away and you look at like the entire body and you look at what drugs were in the system. Propofol was the cause.
Mm.
And then he tried to clean up the area. So he took all of the trash and like tried to hide the bag in a different room. So it seems
Oh.
like he tried to like hide the evidence to like make sure he didn't get caught. So it was I think he just tried to cover himself, if that makes sense.
So you
So
yeah, I can see how. I mean, it was an accident, and then he just tried to cover himself, right? Be like, oh, I don't
very
want it to seem like
possibly.
my fault. But in the end, I mean, you hit evidence, and that's what made it seem like if he was more, if it was his fault, right?
Well, and there's a clip of him like a couple years ago when he's saying he was talking how Michael Jackson's dad was the worst dad ever and how he was horrible to Michael and blah blah. No matter how Michael's father treated him, you would think that if you accidentally killed someone, you would never say those kind of statements. So it
Right.
just showed like a lack of remorse. You know what I mean? Like imagine if you accidentally killed someone and then you went on camera and started trash talking the dad.
Did it?
To me, that seems kind of sinister.
The dad
Yeah.
also
So I don't know.
the dad, right? The dad also mentioned that that he was clinically castrated, right? Well, as a young boy.
That Yeah, I don't. He said that in the video, so I don't know enough to answer that question. To be honest with
Right.
you, I don't know that part of the case.
Right.
I'm not sure, but
I mean,
yeah,
if you go off his voice, I just don't think that his voice fully finished developing because of the high pitched voice that he had. You know, great for singing. You know, it was amazing. He was an amazing singer, and
yeah,
you know, if that's what his dad did to maintain his voice and to keep his creativity, I guess. That's horrible. I mean, how can the father do that to his child? You know, it's horrible and scary at the same time. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know the details to be honest with
of
you.
course.
It would be if it did happen. I just think if I accidentally killed someone, I just wouldn't say anything like that. You know what I mean? Like that's my statement. But yeah, I don't know. And of course, I think that when you raise a child into fame, that takes a certain type of parent. I mean, but there are kids who are naturally talented as well. Um, so it's a fascinating subject. I mean, Michael
Of
Jackson was a
course.
star. He's super like great at what he does. I mean, the fans in my comment sections, like it's insane. He has more fans than most people who are still alive. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and we all remember when he passed away. Like it was huge. Like
It was a
everyone
big
remembers.
deal, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What about the Olympics? What your stance on what was her name? I forget her name.
Simone Biles.
Simone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, what's your stance on her? Do you think it was the right decision for her to pull out, or what was it medically, or it was just for? In my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, and I understand I don't know anything about the medical field at all whatsoever. I'm just gonna put that out there, but I felt like she had 4 years to prepare, and she decided to do. Is it 4 years or 3 years? It's 3 years, right?
Five technically, just because
Oh, okay.
well, like 4.5 because they pushed it back a
Right.
year,
Well, yeah, because of
2016 to
the yeah, but
2021.
the year for the coronavirus doesn't count because everybody
Mm.
lost right there. But anyways, she had a time to prepare and to prepare to compete without the medication that she requires, right? But at the same time, I also think, but isn't that cheating that she was taking the medication that helped her focus?
So I read, now I could be wrong, but I read that they were given an exception. I heard a
Right.
lot of things that the athletes were given an exception that they could be taking it. And honestly, I don't think that stimulants really would change your athletic performance. Like you could say that about anything. Um, is it cheating that people do better and get into college, better colleges because they were on stimulants? It's really going to help more with learning.
Right.
But it doesn't really change your intelligence per se, but it helps focus on your concentration in general.
But
I
see,
wouldn't consider it to be, but just because it's something that is available to anyone, and it really treats more ADHD. But not only that, but when you're on it for years, and let's say that she didn't have it, when
mhm,
you go through a withdrawal, so your brain chemically like goes through this. It's like stimulants in general are kind of like a less potent form of meth. So it's kind of like going
mhm.
through like a withdrawal. You know what I mean? So if she didn't have it with her, then yeah, that would definitely do something. Now I read that I did hear people say that, but I also read that they gave exceptions to the athletes.
Mm.
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, but
I,
I mean, how hard would it be to just sneak like Adderall or whatever in your luggage? Like I don't know.
I
Um,
mean,
but
that part wouldn't be. Well, I mean, when you go to customs, right? They would check for, and if they find
yeah,
any, that would
yeah,
be a
you're right.
problem. But
I heard they made Nick separate, but I don't know.
all right, I don't know, but this is just what I think. I think that she was no, not cheating, but she had an advantage. Because it is my understanding, like I said at the beginning, I don't know anything about the science behind the medication for ADHD. See, I can't even say what's it called?
A stimulant.
Yes, I can't even say the stimulant. Anyways, but I feel like it was unfair for the rest of the team for her to pull out like that because I felt like she left them hanging. But at the same time, I don't know what was going on through her head. I don't know what demon she was fighting.
I think that she consistently saw negative results, and so because of that, she didn't want to continue that bad performance. And one
Right.
thing that I bring up is like, I don't know if you remember the whole sexual assault scandal that went
Yes.
on. I mean, that's the first time she re-entered like an Olympic arena or in like Olympic events.
Oh, okay.
Because that whole scandal happened in 2017 after Rio. So
Right.
like, and she was, I mean, she had these horrible experiences, and she had spoke out in many interviews how she felt like the Olympics didn't protect her and how she was mistreated, blah blah. So I feel like there might have been like these flashbacks that were brought up. I mean, this is all theoretical, but I mean, she probably that's one thing, and there's so many different things. But at the end of the day,
Right.
like no one's perfect,
Of
and
course.
no athlete has ever won the gold for the individual all around like two times in a row. Not recently that I know of. In 2012 it was Gabby Douglas. In 2016 it was Simone Biles. Like it switches every year.
Mm,
She was up to win it two times in a row, but like I think in 2018 it was Nastia Lukens. So it like changes every year pretty much.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
she's amazing. It's just that she didn't pull through this time. I mean, which it is what it is. Like I think it really spoke to the times that we live in, mental health.
Mm-hmm. Of
With what we
course.
went through this last year, and a lot of people really respected it.
Yeah.
It's what it is. At the end of the day, she's an Olympian. Like she still won bronze. Like she's great. She just didn't. And I think that when she went the first time, there was no expectation. Like obviously there was expectations for her to do well, but she had nothing to lose. Whereas this time, she was put on this pedestal. It's like if you don't get first, it's going to look bad. You know what I mean? Like you have less games. But yeah, so I think the big thing with Simone is that she simply is human. I think that that's really what it was. It was just
Yeah.
a representation of that. She
Yeah.
sat herself out because she felt like she wasn't performing to the abilities that she could have.
I'm just glad she didn't
So
hurt herself because with the kind of acrobatics she does, I mean,
yeah,
if her mind's not right, obviously anything could have gone wrong. I don't know if you a couple years back there was a girl that was doing some flips and she snapped her knees the other way. I don't know her name. I don't know if you know about
yeah, I
that
don't
one.
remember either,
Well,
but
anyways,
I knew it.
her knees went the opposite way that they normally
Mm-hmm.
go, and that
Yeah,
could have easily happened to her and ended her career completely. And right now, the way she kind of walked away from it, I mean, I don't think she walked away from her, but like walked away
she did.
from.
I mean, kind of.
Okay, well, anyways, yeah, well, the
She
way
went
she
off
walked,
stage. Yeah.
yeah, the way she walked away from it, it just prevented something like that from happening to her. Well, I'm glad she's okay though, but again, I shouldn't even be talking about her because I don't have a gold medal. So, you know,
Yeah, she's incredible. She's still like, she's had five gold medals or say
that's
like in
awesome.
now a bronze from this year and a silver. So she's, gotten every single color before. She's incredible. It's just that she had that expectation to do
Right.
well again.
Of
And
course.
that doesn't always happen,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like,
Yeah. I
and I'm
mean,
really happy for the girl who won, Suni. I love her. Like, I don't even know her, but I love seeing that story.
well, at least the good thing about that is somebody else got another opportunity, right? And but it
Mm-hmm.
sucks. It sucks in her case that she was put in that pedestal where all of us were expecting, and I say all of us because I paid attention. But it's not like I
Yeah.
follow it religiously at all whatsoever, But I say all of us have the expectation of her because she's been a champion for this long, and to
Mm-hmm.
us, she's got to maintain that championship, But it's not something that it happened this time around,
She's
Yeah.
kind of regarded the same way that Michael Phelps is, like
Yeah. See.
won a ton of medals. Like, Michael Phelps won a ton of gold medals, and she was expected to do the same,
Do you
and it
remember
just
how they
didn't
got
really
mad
happen.
at him for smoking weed?
I remember I was a kid and that happened, and I look at it now and I'm like, there are many worse things in the world.
Right?
Just to, like, you know what I mean? I remember like my mom being like, my mom was very strict. She's like, he was smoking weed, he's been having issues, and now I look at it, I'm like, I mean, I just feel like
He
he
was
could be doing
winning.
crack cocaine, he could be stealing, like, yeah,
Right? Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
the thing is, they pointed out the worst aspect that they could find, and I say I could find because I don't even think weed is bad at all. But I mean, obviously, the carcinogens in the smoke could be bad for you, but I don't think. I don't think it was affecting his performance because how many medals did he win during that time that he was air quote smoking? I guess right.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here like promoting weed usage, but at the same time, like when you are a public figure and a star, at the end of the day, people talk about you to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Bring eyes onto the screen. Have that's what I really learned this last year. That people talk to grab an audience, and so anything scandalous, they're going to try to make money out of.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a picture of him smoking like out of a bong or something. Like, let's like spread it everywhere.
How big
It's
is
like,
it? How
okay.
big is the bong? Let's find that out.
I remember seeing the pictures when I was little, and I was like, oh, like I was like in middle school or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it was the I think around the time I was in middle school, I was like, I'll never smoke weed. And when I graduated high school, that's all I did.
you know.
Excuse me. Yeah. Anyways, but you how is your diet? And I say diet because you shared a video of eating grapes. I forgot the word.
Grapes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I showed that
frozen
this
grapes.
afternoon. Medical school really taught me how to. Can you hear me
Frozen.
now?
I can. Oh, there you are. You're back.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it froze.
All
All
right.
right, so can I start talking again? You were asking about my diet because I posted about grapes.
Oh no, no. It was just I just wanted to find a segue into that into bringing up the grape the frozen grapes, and you said it tasted like candy. You know what? Maybe it's because I ate grapes on when I was after fasting. I ate a bunch of
Uh-huh.
grapes, and I don't know. I felt like my sugar level rose like way too much because my body was feeling like I don't know, like I was gonna pass out, and it was scary because I was driving. So from that time on, I cut down completely my eating grapes, but I went back to them. Um, but uh, but you said to freezing them, they taste like candy. So can you easily eat like a bunch of them like I ate that day, and I felt like I was gonna get a heart attack or something.
So grapes are a great source of potassium. They do have many health benefits. Fruit in general, it's more of a natural sugar. So I'd rather someone eat that than like cupcakes. Of
But
course,
isn't
if you
it
eat
sugar,
like
sugar?
an entire bag of grapes all at once, or
That's
you
what I
eat
did.
like two full bags, yeah, of course, anything in excess in general is going to, probably throw you off too much. Um, but I would argue that a whole bag of grapes isn't as bad as like a jumbo bag of Sour Patch Kids because it's natural.
Right. But
But yeah,
my
yeah, of
understanding
course,
of
anything, and it depends on your personal like health profile for sure.
right that yeah that has a lot to do. Yes. But it was my
Mhm.
understanding that the most fruit that's most rich in potassium is bananas. Do
Bananas.
do they
Hmm.
have more than
Yeah.
bananas, or are there some
No, I wouldn't say
similarities?
bananas definitely take the cake. I just know that they're a decent source of
Okay, that's
potassium.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How, oh, but also my understanding on sugar, it was that sugar is sugar. It doesn't matter if it's natural sugar or candy sugar or whatever the case may be, but sugar is sugar.
That depends. So there's actually multiple different types of sugars. There's sucrose, fructose, all these different things. And if you notice on the back of labels, sometimes it will say, percent added sugars. So there's definitely a lot of synthetic chemical, like there are different types of sugars, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And there's a lot of genetically modified food out there. You know what I mean? There's things that are altered or processed, whereas grapes are a little bit more natural. Like if you think about it, 10,000, or not 10,000, like 1,000 years ago, grapes were probably on the earth. They were, versus like, I don't know, a bag of, or like cupcakes. They weren't around back then. And when you think about how the human species has evolved, over centuries. It's based off of foods like grapes, nuts, meats, things
Right.
that have been found naturally on the earth. That's kind of in general how I like to focus my like overall eating habits around when I'm good. I mean, I'm not perfect, obviously.
Uh,
Sometimes I definitely
yeah.
eat normal food.
Yeah. We all
Um,
do that. We all do the same
but yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
What about raisins? Do they accumulate more sugar than a regular grape, or is it the same?
I think it depends on the type. It's so it's a dried form, but it depends. Do they add sugar into it? Do they not? I'm not totally sure, but I would say that it's probably relatively similar, but I would look at the back of the label and see like what's added in on it.
Right.
Like, does the ingredients look super long? You know what I mean? It depends on the label and the brand. I'm not totally sure though, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because I've never recommended eat raisins.
I mean,
Yeah.
are they good for you or
I feel like it depends. Like, if what's added in on them overall, they are technically dried grapes. So I personally like wouldn't push people to eat raisins, but I wouldn't necessarily per se that they're bad, if that makes sense. I would have to
mm,
look more into it to be honest with you. I'm not totally sure.
I
I
mean,
just one reason why is because like I just don't eat raisins. I actually don't like them that much,
you know
but
my
I don't think that they're the worst thing for you at all. I think
right,
that there probably are health benefits to it.
there there's got to be. I mean, it's natural, right? Like you said,
Do you like raisins?
I do, and you know what? My problem with anything that's sweet is just I can't have just a little piece.
Hmm.
If it's raisins, like I'll just grab a handful and put them in a cup and just eat
Oh,
away.
okay.
And maybe that's not good because it goes back to what I was saying earlier when that time that I ate the grapes right after fasting.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, I felt my knees felt weak. I don't know what the hell was going on. I think it was just a rush of sugar that I was getting so
Hmm.
early in the morning. What about fasting? Do you do any fasting?
So I like to eat smaller meals like multiple times a day.
Oh, okay.
So if you Google something called the Alpha M diet, this guy on YouTube, his name's Alpha M. You don't have to be a male to like eat this, but he has like this like meal plan. And when I was in college, I gained a lot of weight my first year, and I went on that diet. And
What
not even a diet;
what's
it's
the
like a
biggest you
lifestyle.
got?
So I like chicken, like it's like protein,
Okay.
carbs, and like veggies or fruit. I love it, and so I'll eat smaller meals every few hours. I don't really fast personally. There
Oh,
are
okay.
benefits, it does work for people, but I think that everyone has specific ways of eating that work better for them. For me, I don't really like to intermittently fast. Like I don't like to not eat for 16 hours. But it definitely does have health benefits. I think
Right.
everyone's just different.
Right. It's supposed it's supposed to be good for your brain, right? Brain activity. Like if you're fasting,
Mhm.
burning
Yeah, so
fat. Yeah.
yeah, so it kind of puts your body in a state of producing your own sugar. So it has to do with the liver, stuff like that, but it has to do with your metabolism. It throws it in the opposite. Instead of being a consumer of food for the period that you're not eating, you start to be a producer. It's kind of crazy how
Right.
the body works. But yeah, there's a lot to it. But it definitely can be very healthy and good for you.
But you've
Yeah.
never fasted in like at all ever?
Nah. I mean,
Oh,
sometimes I just do without thinking about it. It's like, oh, I haven't eaten forever, but I don't purposefully go on it. I've never
oh
like
okay.
I think I've tried it before, but it wasn't for me. I
Uh,
prefer the Alpha M, like eating every 3 to 4 small meals every 3 to 4 hours. I've just noticed that it keeps me slimmer. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I do kind of the science behind it, but it's how it really matches your metabolism well.
right.
Eating clean food every few hours.
Right. Yeah.
So,
It just keeps it moving all the time, right? So yeah. But
mhm.
that would work. At least in my case, it would work for me if I'm active and I have time to eat. But
Mhm.
like, look, I want to say maybe 3 years ago, I wasn't working for like maybe 6 months or so,
Mhm.
and I would fast, and I noticed it that I got in shape a lot faster because I didn't have the worry of going to work and coming
Yeah.
home and then going to the gym. No, I was resting and I would just go to the gym and do what I had to do, and I noticed that fasting would that's what helped me, I guess, lose a lot of weight fast because I got as big as a 255. That was very big. I was
Mhm.
actually sitting on my forklift at work that when I noticed it, and I was like, I felt my stomach and I felt my chest touching my stomach. I was like, this is not good. It's not even.
I've been obese when I was a little kid in third grade. Yeah. I get you. Like I weighed almost as much as I do now in third grade. But yeah,
What?
I am a big fan of fasted cardio. So like when I wake up in the morning, if I can go to the gym, I'll be honest, I have not always been this way, but I started doing it this week actually.
Well, that's
I
good.
feel really good. But
That's
like
good.
going on the elliptical or like the treadmill, running, walking, just doing cardio while you're in a like non-fed state is actually really good for fat loss.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
fun fact.
I
Yeah.
was doing that a lot too, and that helped me, and that's when I got into eating healthy, and
Mm-hmm.
for me before it was like if I can find a 12 pack of sodas for $3, I would take the 12 pack home and drink it in less than 2 days in a day probably. I was good at that,
Yeah.
um, and that's
Isn't
what.
it crazy? Oh, isn't it crazy how the world changes when you like how your perspective of the world, how you're treated, how you go through the world changes when you're not like when your weight changes.
Yeah, and you know what? I at
Yeah.
first when I stopped actually eating all types of sweets, I wouldn't even put salt in my food. It was just chicken and rice. That's all I was eating. No
Yeah.
salt at all.
Yeah. Very. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I came back to eating sweets and salt and putting stuff like that, I it took me a minute to find the taste. It was like, oh, this is too salty. Oh, this is too
Mm-hmm.
too sweet or something like that. And now I notice that I'm finding things not sweet enough and not salty enough. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the stage where I need to turn back around to where I was because I don't want to get back up
And you
there.
always can, yeah, but it happens. Yeah, you
Yeah,
kind of fluctuate. But that's
yeah,
great that you lost the weight. I mean, that's awesome.
yeah.
It a lot of it really comes to how you eat. And I think that that's one like I would say it's like 80-90% how you eat. Like that will
Yeah.
determine your weight loss. You can work out a lot, but if your diet is very poor, it's going to not give you the results. And I didn't know that until I started studying the body, really, in
Right,
college. So,
right. Of course, yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, definitely. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to have this 30-minute conversation with you. I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate your time and
Yeah.
I
Very nice to meet you.
it was a pleasure me having this conversation and getting to know who you are. Just because I was texting you this whole time and I was like, oh, I haven't get gotten to know him, but
Yeah.
I rather do it this way just so we have a genuine conversation where we actually don't know each other.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
enjoy it. Please go ahead and plug your TikTok and your YouTube channel and all your stuff that you got going on so that I can get you if whoever listens to this goes and checks your stuff out because
Okay.
your
Yeah.
stuff is
I'm
interesting.
Dr. Ryan on TikTok. Doctor spelt out dot Ryan and then Dr. Ryan on Instagram, Ryan, and then same thing on YouTube. Yeah. So that's kind of my brand.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Ryan. I appreciate your time, like I said, and
Nice to
I
meet you.
hope to talk to you another time. And
Yeah. Appreciate it.
thank you
Yeah.
very
You have my
much.
number. Yeah.
Definitely,
Thanks so
definitely, I'll
much.
keep it. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was an interesting conversation about scandals, diet, and all that jazz that Dr. Ryan shares with his peeps. Anyways, I'd like to thank him. He was a wonderful guest to have on and to get to converse with. And I really, really appreciate your time, Dr. Ryan. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to have this great conversation with you. And again, to all the listeners, thank you very much for listening and watching this. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It means the world to me and it costs you nothing. And again, thank you very much. And that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen and non binary folk. Enjoy your time. Thank you very much.